Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today, y'all, you're going to have the opportunity to ask one of the most incredible Vedic astrologers, and she combines modalities, but you're going to have an opportunity to ask Brooke Underwood specifically about your chart. So we're going to get into mini readings. If you know you want one, you may want to go ahead and type in your name, birth date, place of birth, and time that you were born. Is there anything else that I'm missing there, Brooke? I think I got it all right.
Make sure it's a full date, including the year.
Full date, including the year. Exactly where you were born. If you don't know the exact time, what does someone do if they don't know the exact time that they were born, Brooke?
I can wiggle with you today.
All right, y'all. We may be wiggling on the call a little bit today as well. Um, and again, we'll get into readings a little bit later, but we're also going to talk about opening to divine abundance of goddess energy in the Vedic birth chart and beyond. So who's Brooke? I'll share my personal experience with Brooke. I saw her on an Instagram post and she was sharing something that's like, why do I not know more about this woman and the work that she's doing? Because the way that she was delivering the message is so grounded and so weaving the stories that act as teachers for all of us and what's available through the different archetypes and the different energies as they manifest for us to help us navigate our world right now and what she reveals through her capacity as a Vedic astrologer, as a modern feminine mystic, as a hypnotist is truly extraordinary. Um, and again, today we're going to get into sharing the power of the goddess energy or the shakti from the ancient system of Vedic astrology. And we're going to get into how we can ground in this cosmic insight from ancient India's 27 lunar astrology signs of goddess power. We're going to align with the divinely feminine aspect of the Vedic astrology that's uncovering the gift and shadow of your Vedic moon. We're going to get into understand the metaphysics on how working with the goddess of destruction, Kali, which is, I love Kali, um, gets to the goddess of wealth, which is Lakshmi, who's hanging on my wall, by the way, and how that ignites and gets momentum and energy flowing and so much more. So it's going to be a beautiful conversation on a special Monday edition of BTO. Um, and with that long, just enthusiastic introduction, Brooke, welcome to Beyond the Ordinary. It's about time that you're on here.
Thank you so much, John. Hello to everyone. Thank you for having me.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit more about the difference between Western astrology and Vedic astrology and why the Vedic, is it Vedic or Vedic? Vedic.
Vedic.
The Vedic astrology is something that you utilize to go deeper into how you facilitate transformation for people.
That's a big question. There are scholars debating all across YouTube on the differences between Western and
Yeah.
Vedic astrology. There's a lot of technical information and insight that some of it I could share, a lot of it I could not share.
Mhm.
But the gist of it is that Indian astrology, Vedic astrology, was rooted in the 27 star signs called the Nakshatras. So instead of the 12 familiar Western zodiacal signs that were probably originated from Persia, Aries through Pisces, the Vedic Indian system was rooted in these 27, they're called lunar mansions or nakshatra signs because they were a lunar oriented culture. They were interested in how the moon traveled in the evening through the different constellations. They were interested in the divisions of what's called the tithi or the 27 different 13 degrees and 20 minutes of the sky that's divvied up every waxing and waning moon cycle. They were very just observational about the moon. They were lunar oriented. So we could say they were feminine oriented. They were emotional oriented. They were more inner world oriented. So that appreciation and that connection just there of wow, a culture, a system that was lunar focused, of course, just opened my heart and coming from the Western 12 sign system that I loved and that I started my practice about 10 years ago in, I was already very interested in the feminine as I was specializing in the goddess asteroids from my teacher Demetra George and doing readings specifically around the feminine archetypal experience for women. And of course, their moon sign placements in those 12 signs, which I still do today. But having this 27 sign experience of these different placements of where the moon travels. So every day or so, the moon is in a different nakshatra. So it has a different power or a different shakti for us to receive, for us to contemplate, for us to just live in relationship to nature and the cosmos and our emotional experience. That is the main difference, I would say, between Western and Vedic.
With so much changing on such a daily basis and really moment by moment, how how do we take somebody's information? Like you took all of my details, when I was born, the specific alignments and how that maps out. Uh, How do we hone in into the potentials that are awakening, the particular pathways that are available, and how do we discern to really show up, if you will, for an alignment that feels more of what we want, if you will, because we can choose any path and there's different aspects of it, but do we have a complete karmic path which is going to be suffering and that's what we have to do? Or are there opportunities to show up with what's being demonstrated in the chart so that we can optimize the possibility for our lives?
I love this question. And I would say, in brief, the practice of Vedic astrology has taught me to see life for what it is. It's a bit realistic system. Um, it's even known for being too fatalistic at times, and a lot of people experience perhaps their first or two Vedic readings in an environment from a what's called a Jyotishi, a Vedic astrologer, who says, "Oh, you're gonna have one kid when you're 40 and life is going to be suffering and your husband will leave you and you will all these types of ills and sufferings." Instead, we can choose to see, okay, there are some rough patches here. And of course, anyone seeing an astrologer has experienced passages and
Oh yeah.
knows that life isn't all marigolds and sunflowers, that, there is a descent of consciousness. There is meeting with Kali, the negativity or what's called the tamasic quality of consciousness, that experience of the heaviness, depression, anxiety, fear, things like this. So we're wanting to improve, we're wanting to grow by just meeting with an astrologer because we're seeking to understand holistically our path. And I would say one, for instance, who has some challenging placements in their chart, well, it's an opportunity to raise the frequency of those placements. It's called raising the dignity. So instead of, for instance, anyone here, I'm positive we have maybe the majority of people here have Scorpio moons or water moons, Pisces or Cancer, but Scorpio moons in particular, that's the most challenging placement for a moon sign. And we can go into those challenges, but the light of a Scorpio moon placement is that they're going to the depths of pain and suffering, of the death and rebirth mysteries, or going into really understanding the subtleties of the somatic experience so that they can become more resourceful. The exaltation of the moon or the highest dignity of the moon is in Taurus. So they're doing that to become more just succulent, more grounded, more rich, more vivacious, more, oh, I feel so good just to be and just to be alive in this material plane. I don't have to constantly go under these transformations. I have choice now. So I find it a way, this whole system, an invitation for us to have the freedom of choice and to see things correctly, because Jyotish is the eye of the Vedas. It's all about seeing things and how we can see things differently and change our perception differently, particularly once we get understanding and insight into why it's been so difficult, why it's been so frustrating to only see things in a certain way or to experience things in a certain way because our consciousness, for whatever reason, co-signed onto this life path, into these karmic signatures, to have this developmental hero or heroine's journey to come back into the light of awareness, which is more or less Lakshmi in a nutshell.
That's beautiful. It's one thing that I really appreciated about my time with you is also an awareness that even where there's shadow is, there's a recognition also that we're not showing up unequipped and unprepared. And it doesn't have to be, like I said earlier, so fatalistic, but it's like, oh, this is demonstrating for me because I'm ready to take this path because something wants to become illuminated in it. And so it's also in the way that it's delivered and understood from a more holistic perspective that really demonstrates a potency that's ready to be stirred and awakened and utilized for this particular life.
Yes, it can be. Well, my work in general, I always have a warning label for my people that I trigger you. And I'm here to
Mm,
trigger you, not to make it just overwhelming, but to just go to the root of what feels like so hard and so challenging to overcome, and to just have another person see and to be with you in that chaos, in that mess, in that relationship to your own Kali consciousness, so that we can begin to feel this lightness and this flexibility to
mm.
discern what is our highest path. And I find, and I'm sure you have found, John, as well, that our deepest wounds and our deepest challenges have our most liberated gifts. You know,
Yeah.
there's a reason I have this very creative and unique career because of my own challenges with my own moon placement, and I can talk about that at any time.
Well, we definitely want to talk the different moon placements and let's get into just to give a little more understanding of potential gifts and the potential shadows of the Vedic moon.
Absolutely. So, like the Western moon, there's shadows and gifts. In the Vedic moon, there's also shadows and gifts, but it's related to the deity or the god or goddess and the mythology that's connected to the unique Vedic moon sign. So, what's a good example? There is a placement called Mirgashirsha. Mirgashirsha is the deer and is connected to the god Soma, which is the elixir of immortality that Soma produces usually when we have our Kundalini woken up and we just boo go into this bliss state of consciousness. Well, Mirgashirsha people love to get into bliss state of consciousness. They're the musicians, they're the public speakers, they're holding all the neo-tantra events. Like I'm sure Kauai is full of Mirgashirsha people.
Oh yeah.
But the shadow then is overindulgence. It's, oh, I keep on doing festivals and festivals, and I'm not going into a depth of the soma. I'm going into the superficial soma. So there can be some escapism. And because of the deer symbolized by Mirgashirsha, that's part of the myth. It's a very long outrageous at times myth, that particular one. The deer can make people a little fearful at times, and it's usually through, I've seen, plant medicine or just feeling more of the love energy through connectivity, through friendships, and people as if they're ride or die buddies, that they can grow this strength of a nervous system and to not be so frightful or to be so sensitive and to have more or less a transcendental experience of their consciousness. It's a pretty cool moon sign.
Mm. And again, that's one example of many. Uh,
Yes, one of 27.
one of 27 to get into the combinations. And again, we'll get into charts, y'all, in a little bit. So again, if you want to have a mini reading, either raise your hand and we can do a live reading, or type your information into the chat box. Again, your name, place of birth, time of birth, and your complete birthday, including the year, please. And again, we'll get to those in a little bit here. Um, let's talk about Kali and Lakshmi, two of my favorites, that run through, again, the goddess of destruction, Kali, and the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi. And, as figures, again, growing up in a very Western Catholic upbringing, um, there's a connection to the archetypes that I could feel with Kali and Lakshmi. But then something came alive in me where I actually started having relationship with each one of them separately into something that was being activated in me. And that was really, on one level, it was surprising because I wasn't immersed in these types of teachings or culture. Um, but something about it felt very natural and part of a progression and part of the voyage that I was supposed to go on.
Mm,
So it's fascinating. I'd love it if you give us a little more insight into how they show up for your clients, what they represent, and how it is that you help with the integration for those who it's showing up for.
mm. Yes, and that's the beauty of the Vedic system. And for anyone who's so unfamiliar or feels intimidated or the Sanskrit, the language is a barrier, just know at the end of the day, and this is truly my experience too, coming from a feminine feeling, emotionally oriented, psychic oriented path. It's just how you're just absorbing the information, you're feeling the information. And so the mythology of these two goddesses, perhaps you have noticed it in your observation of your own behavior, in your own patterns of your mind. Perhaps you've seen it in a friendship that you've had, or a mythological or fictional character, someone playing out a movie role. These are transcendental archetypal experiences. I find the Vedic system to be very integrated. And so with Kali, often people are moving through patterns of deep shame and unworthiness, a feeling that they are not allowed to be who they are and they're not allowed to have what they desire to have. And often they may not even know what it is that they desire to have because they have been experiencing a lot of woundedness, negativity, we could say trauma. And what they're seeking is a sense of peace and a sense of liberation from feeling like their energy is suppressed, feeling like their identity is suppressed, whether that is a feeling like they're too much or that they're too little. It's a dance of self-deprecation or a dance of self-conceit. So we're often navigating these afflictions to our mind and to our somatic experience. And I love hypnosis as a what's called upaya in Vedic astrology. You may know in Vedic astrology, there's different remedies. I'm wearing a little remedy. It's called a Rudraksha seed. There's different gemstones. I'm also wearing a remedy here, gold on my left finger. There's all these different remedies or different prayers that you can do yagyas, have a priest do a fire ritual for you to help you move this negativity in your life or just a lower operating consciousness of your life. Or you can do the deep work of creating your vessel to be this wonderful, just toiled and succulent ground of life and living and expression and life and unsuppression of your life force energy by moving through the heart, moving through the belly, and moving through what I call the head or the mind, and integrating these three oracles so that you can move into a frequency of liberated freedom and abundance and peace so that you can begin to work with the energy, be with the energy of Lakshmi. It wasn't, I think it was at least 4 or 5 years that I was ready to work with Lakshmi in my own contemplative practice. I had been working with Kali. I just felt, based on my life experiences, based on losing my mother to dementia at an early age, everything was just dissolving and disintegrating, and there was destruction all around me, conflict all around me, and that was my experience growing up in early childhood, and also my experience of the world of like, oh my gosh, my mind was had a tendency to just over fixate on the problem or the negativity. So, of course, my body would over fixate on the suppression, the not enoughness, the unworthiness, there's a problem here. And part of that is me. So, the anxiety that that creates and disconnection to the true self that connects. But by really undoing and unlearning these patterns of negativity and how we're incorrectly perceiving ourselves and building up our positive emotions through hypnosis and building up an ego that is strong, not just a dissolved ego that I think people also get confused in meditation or Kali, that she just takes away your ego and you
Mm.
just need to be in present moment awareness all the time and ask for nothing and just be simple and live like a monk and like an ashram life and just get on with it. Stop making yourself so important. No, no, no. You need an ego. You need your sun sign, which is your sense of beingness. But in order to illuminate your sun sign, you need the opposite, which is the moon sign, which is your connection to yourself.
Mm.
So once that connection to self is really reestablished, we can really start to work with Lakshmi. And we can even begin to work with Lakshmi if she's calling to you. That was just my story. I was just, Kali and I have a pact. It's very strong in my birth chart, just like Kali and Brooke's incarnation are together.
Mm.
So we can move within the spheres of these different qualities of the goddess at any time. But we do often need to meet wealth and prosperity from a sense of not being bounded by the restrictions of wealth or the restrictions of our consciousness or the restrictions of how we feel about ourselves. And I find that when we do that, we open up this channel of true wealth and true prosperity, which is what Lakshmi wants. It's not just material wealth, she wants full systems, integrated wealth.
Yeah, that's quite beautiful. And w- what part of my experience with navigating these energies in my own way is that my relationship with Kali was something that as she started presenting herself more often as I was ready to, or she was deciding, we'll call it, to initiate me, it came more as a welcome rather than something to fear.
Hmm.
And the circuitry between Lakshmi and Kali also, it's like if there's a blocking to the wealth in the way that you describe it, um, it's I welcome Kali to destroy what isn't real, what is being held in chains, so I can be liberated from that, so I can experience the next level of the abundance from Lakshmi. And of course, we're talking about two particular goddesses right now, and there's many more. Um, but there comes a sense that eventually we start to welcome whoever happens to show up at the doorway. And that's real liberation, and that's real peace. And that, for me, is the ultimate wealth.
And the tantric tradition that I'm a part of would say that no matter if you're meeting Lakshmi on the forefront or Kali on the forefront, you're always meeting the opposite.
Mm,
So it is one and the same. It's just pick your own adventure, pick what your heart is calling you, or just receive what is meant for you to receive.
beautiful. We're going to get into the special offer in a little bit. We're going to get into readings here in just a second. But I'd love it if you give us a little more background, Brooke, about it's the way that you illuminate the way that we're wired from these particular ways is so impressive. Um, but what's also equally impressive, if not perhaps more, is the way that you guide people into really facilitating um, a life that they're wanting to live by integrating this. Um, so how is it that you put all this together and then you guide those who show up in your courses or one-on-one with you um, to discover something about themselves that maybe they didn't have access to before?
Mm. I do give myself up to the goddess, up to whether it's Kali or Lakshmi. I
Mm,
said, use me, 10 years ago. And before it was a feeling of spirit, a feeling of God, of just like, I don't know how I'm supposed to channel these intuitive gifts that I have, but please help me. Please have this, give me the strength, give me the courage, which is the Durga energy, to illuminate what is my unique kind of entry point because there's so many different systems, as you know.
Yeah.
endless systems of healing modalities, of psychospiritual counseling modalities, bodywork modalities, mind body modalities. But at the end of the day, it's really what is the most resonance with our
Mm.
true nature. And I found the deeper that I went in my own true nature and just uncovering what liberated my own consciousness, then I felt like, okay, this is the technique. These are the techniques I get to synthesize through me to meet others through more or less the most I aspire. I'm not perfect ever. I'm always deciding
Well,
where I
we
need
would
to
be
improve.
suspicious if you said that you were.
But where the question is, how can I be my most embodied self? And what modalities meet that most embodied version of myself? And who knows? Maybe in a couple years or in 10 years, I just throw all of this out and I become a body worker because that's meeting my most embodied self.
Mm,
So that's always been the priority because I've seen my practice as an extension of my art. And so
mm.
I got to be one with my art. I got to be feeling my art to then be able to deliver something really potent and transformational with whomever is in front of me.
What do you notice of the people that are in front of you, the shifts that occur because of where you're illuminating through your art with them?
Uh, I feel like it's the emotional purge that is always available. If there is a consciousness, a permission, and a love for the totality of the emotional experience. I feel like we are moving in a direction where we are all holding bigger and bigger emotions
Yeah.
and bigger qualities of our shape of experience or our nervous system. And those of us who can really move with our own emotional rainbow variety of our reality can give this really deep facilitation rather quickly
Mm.
instead of going through maybe a more linear process, but it's more of this, we could say, shamanic process. And I have been told that, you know, working with you one or a couple sessions is like an ayahuasca journey. And I think
It
it's,
is very shamanic. We definitely met in that realm without question. I know that realm well, and so but for sure you do that.
yes.
And for a little more perspective, because you mentioned it earlier,
Mhm.
and I don't know if it'll show up in a special offer necessarily on the call when we all dive in, but be prepared for anything because you said that you do trigger people. What comes up in the triggers and what's the liberation beyond the stimulation?
Yes. I feel like sometimes we aren't so aware. We are not so aware. We have
Mm.
so many other things to be aware of in our lives. And Vedic astrology has a gift of increasing our awareness by increasing where our blocks are, where our shadows are, where parts of us that, ooh, I didn't want to admit that about myself. Ooh,
Mm-mm.
wow, that's true sometimes, but that's true. Or, oh, wow, I didn't
Yeah.
realize I've been attracting for instance, I have a lot of clients that it seems like within one session I can laser point in this is why you're attracting narcissistic partners. It's right here in your chart, and this
Mm.
is what's going on. And here's the mythology, here's the breakdown of how you can move out of that
Nice.
so that we can create change rather quickly. And Kali rules time, and sometimes she wants us to take time in change work. And sometimes she's just like lightning fast and she moves through me and I see something and I say it, or I'm in an intuitive process and something comes up in my inner sight or as a clue to go into an emotional realm. And I just let her guide me and see what comes up. And
You do the shamanic thing, no question whatsoever.
yes.
And you have a tremendous capacity for navigating both the dark and the shadow and the light. And it comes through in balance and the humility in which you present it with. And for me, those are the type of speakers and leaders and teachers that that I wish for our community, and why it's, I wanted to invite you to BTO. So thank you for being here.
Hmm.
Um, I'd love to open up to some mini readings if you're ready.
I'm so ready. Who's
Y'all ready
up?
for some readings? This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be, I have to share. I was for a while that Vedic astrology is like, I don't know. I don't. It's not that I didn't appreciate it. I just didn't want to hear it. Western was a little more. I can manipulate my thoughts around that a little bit more, and kind of make it land more on something that felt more comfortable for me. But when I opened up to the transmissions and merging the different technologies, it's just, oh man, it's so liberating in so many ways when we understand and know fully how we can run on all cylinders instead of avoiding two that maybe need a little repair, but once they get going, wow, amazing how we can function. Um, all right, y'all, let's get started. Jeanette, welcome to the call.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. Brooke. I'm Jeanette Gibler, Tucson, Arizona, and I was born May 22nd, 1964 at 6:12 p.m.
Hmm. As you're pulling that out, Kim Keller saying that she loves Brooke, or we love Brooke. She's speaking for us collectively. Yes, you're right, Kim. We do love Brooke.
All right, Jeanette, May 22nd, 1964. Birth time again
6:12 p.m.
and place.
Tucson, Arizona.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's playing the elevator music in the
It's
background?
me.
I
I'll
love that. It's
mute.
so perfect
Oh,
as we're waiting for Brooke to pull everything up.
I
It's like
know.
it's
everything you
perfection.
should mute it now.
Jeanette, how do you spell Tucson?
Tucson. It's a tricky one.
Okay, you are Chitra Nakshatra. Chitra is symbolized by a shining jewel, and those who have this moon sign love things to be shining, organized, exquisite. They're often engineers, artisans. They have great taste. They're wanting things to be often meticulous, and sometimes that can drive them crazy or drive others crazy. Their perfectionism and their desire for exquisite beauty. Some of the most beautiful architecture and art that's been created has been Chitra-oriented people. They're very much into having a really succinct process and repeating that process and making it better and better. So that connects them into their artisanal nature. And the deity or the god that's connected to Chitra is the celestial architect of the universe, Tvavishtar, it's called. And the unique power for Chitra is the power to accumulate good merit in one's life. So not only do they have this very inventive and creative taste and abilities, but they often are wanting to just be good people, be good Samaritans. And they see that their abundance opens up the more and more they show up from a sense of virtue. And they're often kind of connected to the right people in the right communities because they have this shining, brilliant nature about themselves and living out of the, we could say, the higher virtuous self rather than the lower virtuous self.
Thank you so much. I could really relate to a lot of that.
So, Brooke, as she's receiving this, what would you have her maybe lean into or contemplate or maybe put into motion if she's not already?
Commit to the beauty path.
Hmm. Nice. Wow. Hopefully that opened the window for you.
So potent. I can't even tell you how special. Thank you so much.
Blessings, Jeanette. Thank you for coming on.
Blessings.
All right. Cheryl, welcome to the call. And y'all find your unmute buttons on your screen on your phone, wherever it is. And the phone is a little bit more difficult to find sometimes. So y'all be prepared for that as Cheryl is being our guide in how to find our unmute button right now. Did you find it, Cheryl? Give me a second. Let me see if that helps you.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
there we
there
go.
you go.
Sorry, new computer.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Um, my name is Cheryl Davidson, and my birth date is May 18th, 1968 at 12:24 a.m. in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
What was the time again, Cheryl?
12:24 a.m.
Oh, and full disclosure, y'all, and it's Jeanette and Cheryl also. Y'all, we will run the replay and it will go public. It'll go on YouTube. So if you're uncomfortable sharing your details, um, maybe get a session with Brooke or go into the special offer. Because we can't edit the videos after they go up. It's just it takes a lot of resources for us. So I wanted to disclose that fully. If you do want to ask and share so that you're aware of what's happening.
Thank you. That's fine. Fine with me. Thank you.
And we'll just double check May 18th, 1968, 12:24 a.m., Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah.
Ooh, you are a Shravana native. And Shravana is ruled by the deity Vishnu. And Vishnu is all about preserving, especially preserving Dharma and preserving what is good. He is actually the pair to Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is about preservation as well. And Shravana people are very intuitive, and they're often very skilled at communication and utilizing their intuition so that they can connect to other people. It's a very connective moon placement. They want to be connecting, they want to be learning, they want to be teaching. And they're often people who listen to podcasts, who want to be running a podcast. They're media oriented people. They're language wordsmith oriented people. They're teachers often, and they're often students of Dharma and students of, because of Vishnu, traditional teachings in some way. So, traditional indigenous teachings, more of the ancient mystical traditions of religion or spirituality. And some of the I've seen Shravana shadow side can be a little gossipy. They can be just a little, at times, quick to share about, what they heard.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Interesting.
welcome.
Thank you.
And Brooke, what would be your guidance as someone who's gotten this brief bit of information from you? I know you can go so much more deep, but what would you recommend for Cheryl in this awareness?
Utilize music and sound as much as possible.
Hmm. Okay.
There you go, Cheryl.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Wonderful to have you here. Thank you for coming on. All right, let's continue now. Janice, welcome to the call. All right, I'm going to put y'all in unmute jail here pretty soon. Let's see if we can find your button there. No, you're still not coming on, Janice. We can blame it on Kali, but I don't think that'd be fair.
We can blame it on Mercury stationing direct, so
There you
he
go.
he
We're
is the
still.
scapegoat.
Tell us a little bit about this last stint with Mercury retrograde and how we're wrapping that up right now.
We're wrapping up Mercury and Saturn retrograde this week. And usually when that happens, there is an exaggerated situational energy
Mm.
that happens. So, exaggerated issues with technology, missing appointments, and also health issues usually come up if there's anyone who's had any loved ones or they themselves who have had some health things, just know Saturn stationing direct can bring up root chakra type of issues. But
Mm,
this too shall pass.
good to know. And when you say this too shall pass, is there like a time frame according to how the planets are moving where we can maybe look for a window of the exhale as we were holding tight?
Yes, in about a week or so, we should
Okay.
be experiencing an exhale.
So it's not like a 10-year cycle that we're stuck in.
Not collectively, but individually, some of us may be going through what's called the sati sati, which is a 7.5 year cycle, and you need to talk to me. So if your moon's
About
in, let's see, Aquarius, Pisces, or Aries, and potentially Taurus, then talk to me.
there you go. And by the way, I'm in my second Saturn return, y'all. So I've got a little Saturn navigation that I'm working on also. But it's all welcome with love. I just thought I'd share that out loud.
And
Uh,
you know what? I have to jump in. So Kali is related to Saturn.
oh yeah.
So Saturn is considered a planet of limitations, of karma, of restrictions, of time. Kali rules time. And the dark goddess or Kali spirit is really connected to, what is beyond this linear experience. So when we have a Saturn return, when we have a Saturn situation come up, that can feel just so limiting and so defeating. Working with Kali actually can also help us with the Saturn kind of grudgery that can occur in our lives.
How do we work with Kali?
Ooh, well.
Now we're getting into the good stuff, y'all.
Ultimately, work with your relationship with time. Work with where you rush time, where you fear time, where you're attached to your aging body, where you're attached to money running out, where you're attached to just things being limited in any way in your consciousness. Really work on perceiving things as they are and in an abundant cyclical way.
Mm,
And also, if you want, establish a personal relationship with Kali, like she's a spirit or a flavor of God,
mhm.
and just be with her, invite her into your heart, into your life, maybe have a little Kali statue or what's called Morti, or maybe you listen to a Kali chant or you chant a Kali mantra. But being with the goddess of just time in any way will benefit you.
I'm finding that chanting mantras are taking on a whole nother layer of power that I haven't experienced before. So when I intentionally drop into a mantra as of the last 6 to 8 months and just amplify, I feel my whole body just vibrating with the invocation. It's why do you think that might be happening now in such a way that it hasn't before, at least for me, I think for a lot of other people as well.
I think we are becoming more and more sensitive as a culture, and mantra and Sanskrit is considered the root language on the planet. And so chanting this root language that millions of people have chanted across time, this is connecting us to something very timeless. And the
Mm,
technology that has been just cultivated with repetition and with reverence and practice, when we step into that with an already cultivated sensitivity, then it's like
yeah.
lightning fast types of transformations and subtleties of your subtle body shifting and changing, where you don't have to do so much of, like, we could say, the heavy lifting or approaching things from the conscious mind or in a direct way. It's very indirect way, and it's as effective when our sensitivity, I think, is ripe.
That's so good, y'all. It's if y'all haven't gotten into a practice or have even experienced it, I highly recommend working the mantras. It's we're gonna get into Brooke's special offer because there's so much that you're gonna learn there and be able to carry forward, and it's so grounding and empowering. Um, let's do one more chart, then we'll get into special offer, then we'll go into more charts. So. If I've missed anyone, if you couldn't find your unmute button and you logged off, come back on. I'd love to call you back on. It's like I promise I'm not kicking you. I'm just giving you a hard time because I'm just entertaining myself in the process. Um, all right, let's go here now. Bonnie, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Hi. Um, my name is Bonnie, and I'm born in Listowel, Ontario, Canada. I was born very early in the morning, but I don't know the time. I just know it was very, very early.
How do you spell Listwell, Bonnie?
Listol or Owel, Listowel. I have had
And
my chart done uh, but not in the Indian chart. I have had it done before, so
And not by Brooke.
no.
I have had so many charts done, y'all, and I gained so much insight and wisdom from all of them. And I have to share, I so thoroughly enjoyed and felt an activation of my time with Brooke and the way that she describes it. And again, it's a gift to have her here on the call, y'all, and to get these mini readings and to be able to get into the special offer. It truly is. But I just wanted to share that this is really a unique experience. And Brooke, with that, what are you picking up for Bonnie?
Bonnie, I need your month, day, and year of birth.
May the 9th, 1949.
So many May birthdays. This is
Yeah.
fun. So I have you as Hosta,
Awesome.
and it's so cute because I see a row of hands in the Zoom room, and Hosta means hand.
Hmm.
And you've had your hand up, right? So there's a little synchronicity there. Hasta people are considered first the cherubs of the zodiac, and I see you have some rosy cheeks and a natural smile to your face. So there is a lovely innocence and a joyfulness that's connected to Hasta and a laughing quality that people have with Hasta. They want to have fun, they want to play, they love comedy. They're often these very witty, whimsical teachers, counselors, guides of sorts, or they just have an ability to kind of pick up and improvise of like, well, that didn't work out, so I'm going to try this. The quality of Hasta is light and swift. So they're often just moving very lightly and swiftly, like an improvisational comedian of just picking up and starting again. They don't hold on to things so much. Um, and they can grasp onto things very easily because the hand can, it's said to make a fist. So you can grasp onto ideas or grasp onto skills really easily. The shadow or difficulty I see with Hasta is a little bit of a naivety, a little bit of like an innocence and a like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. Uh-oh. So they often gain their maturity through life, but even the most hardship or difficult situations they go through, they have this humor, the gift of humor with them.
Oh, thank you. I work with my hands. I'm a registered massage therapist for over 30 years, so I work with my hands. So
Beautiful.
yeah, thank you very much. And that is sort of my personality. I'm just sort of like a happy soul. If I'm not feeling well, I'm not my normal self. But yeah, you aced it. Thank you very much.
Hmm. And would there be anything that you would suggest to Bonnie that she may want to work with?
The sun god, Savitor, is related to Hasta. So anytime you can be with the sun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I recognize that lately. Actually, I have a swing on my porch, and I even in the winter I sit out in the sun. I just have to be out in the sun. So thank you. I'll keep doing that.
Nice. Beautiful, Bonnie. Thank you for
Thank
coming on.
you. Thank you guys.
Y'all, we're gonna get to some more charts. There's those of y'all who wrote into the chat your information. I promise we're gonna get to some there as well. We're gonna get to more of y'all who are live, who we promoted to panelists. But let's go into the special offer first, y'all, because this is an opportunity to work one-on-one, well, as a group with Brooke, but in a beautiful immersive experience, going into awakening abundance through your moon sign. Um, Brooke, what are people signing up for when they go deeper into this with you?
Well, I can only intuit what you're signing up for. I don't often exactly know what you're signing up for, but this offer is a synthesis of understanding your Western moon sign. So through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so forth, understanding the ins and outs of that moon sign of yours, and also understanding your Vedic moon sign and seeing the synergy of those two that
Mm.
inform your happiness. So we haven't gotten to this, and I think this is the most important thing, which is what is a moon? What does the
Right.
moon
Yes.
mean? What is the resonance of the moon? Why are we meeting on a moon day, a Monday? Well, because it's all about the moon today. And the moon represents growth. As the moon, as it's waxing, is always growing. And in fact, it's a waxing moon this week. We'll have the full moon in a few days. And so there's an uptick of energy. There's probably an uptick in aha, inspiration, a sense of, okay, this is the next step, and an excitement because the moon is always wanting us to get better. And so we're always wanting to emotionally feel better and emotionally connect to ourselves in a better way. So sometimes when we have a moon sign that is in a challenging placement to really connect to yourself by studying the archetype, the zodiac that it resides in, we can really feel a permission to be validated, especially if, for instance, you have a earth sign. Maybe your moon is in Taurus or Capricorn, or it's in Virgo. Well, moon sign, earth sign people, they need security and stability more than they often admit to themselves. So, what makes them happy is increasing their resourcefulness and increasing their stability, increasing more of that functional materiality of Lakshmi energy. So we want to be really savvy with our moon signs, really deeply understanding of our moon signs so that we can be really clear of what is ultimately going to bring us happiness and what is ultimately taking away our happiness. Because usually when we have some blind spots in our moon, we are longing like a lunar person. We're just overemphasizing the importance of something that we don't have. We get into that scarcity feeling of, oh, I don't have that relationship, so I'm just going to get drowned in the water of, for instance, the moon's natural home is in Cancer, so it's very easy for us to get drowned in our emotional experience because we're just longing and conditioned to just desire what is not happening for us. And that can create a lot of blockages in our flow of energy and flow of life force energy. So, by studying your moon sign, you can open up your unique life force energy and bring more of this prosperity into your life, and more of this sense of, I know who I am and I'm worthy of it. And I'm worthy of also being expressed from this place of my moon sign.
Mm. I have to share that when I received the deeper interpretation of my moon sign in the house, being shared a specific aspect of the moon that they call an out of bounds moon, and what that connected me to, and the why I'm driving in particular places, but I was looking to fulfill that drive in places where I wasn't really being directed by the moon. I was stopping short. I was looking for fulfillment in something else. I was looking for nurturance to satisfy that urge. And when I discovered, when it was revealed to me what that longing really was, it's not an exaggeration. I believe I was set free in ways that allowed for an authentic expression of me to really start presenting and creating towards that connection rather than trying to find morsels of fulfillment that were never really fulfillment to begin with. They were just settling, knowing that it was going to collapse because it wasn't the thing that I was really in alignment with. So it's profound. For me, it was profound. Um, I'm sure you have a lot of experiences and examples to share that would probably be similar to mine, Brooke.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, when you go to a special offer, you're going to have a 3-hour workshop. It's happening December the 14th. What day of the week is that, Brooke?
It's Sunday.
So it's Sunday, December 14th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Um, if you can't show up live, it will be recorded. I'm assuming you'll take live calls also and questions during the session.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It will have breaks too, as we'll go into a hypnotic process of meeting Kali and Lakshmi and integrating those two goddesses as well to also integrate some of the themes that you learn and uncover with your moon sign so
Mm,
that there can be a digestion. Because that's always been my quip with astrology is that it can just be so much here in the head, so much information, often
right.
an overload of information. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? And I find the alchemy of digestion going into the subconscious then can bring the sense of, okay, I got it. And
Mm.
here I am.
Beautiful. And y'all, I know Brooke said that she doesn't know necessarily what's going to show up at the moment at the time that the class is going to go live, but don't be surprised if you happen to navigate some type of shamanic initiation in the process as well as you discover more of you. Me discovering my moon, what it entailed, the implications of it, and how it helped me feel seen and understood finally. It's like, that makes sense. That was without question a shamanic initiation for me. Powerful, powerful. And every time I feel into it, I feel my heart just opening and relaxing even more into it. So it's quite
Mm.
beautiful. So on top of the 3 hour live class, y'all, you're also going to get a unique goddess power, the unique goddess power of your Vedic moon sign. Is this a workbook? What's happening here, Brooke?
Yes, you just get a PDF with all the list of the 27 nakshatras and what the mini readings that I'm giving everyone today is entailed to an extent in this
Mm,
workshop. So you can use it for yourself. You can use it to pull up your moon sign of your loved ones. You can then go into a YouTube hole of discovery and contemplation for the rest of your life. Just knowing your moon sign, nakshatra placement can just be this whole opening of your
wow.
consciousness. So
Wow.
you'll have that as a way to ground before the workshop because during the workshop, I will not be going into the 27 signs. It's impossible to do in 3 hours. I can do the 12 other signs, but I'll be answering questions on live after you've discovered your own Vedic moon sign and maybe done your own research, sat with it. Then I will offer intuitive insight on it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Y'all take advantage of that. One question I have for you, Brooke, how do you integrate your capacities as a hypnotherapist with this work also?
Well, I'll share with you how it's happening organically. I often, in my practice in Asheville, North Carolina, where I'm based out of, my office, I'm having a lot of people receive a mini reading, so to speak, maybe 30 minutes of their chart. What I see as like center stage insight for the timing of the day, the timing of the life. And then we move through that. And we move through also what's called the soul purpose or the Atmakarka, the special planet that also is a guiding planet to help you stay in alignment with your true self and opportunities. And then we move into hypnosis because I find that if we're just receiving hypnosis to change this or to heal this or to shift this or to improve this one thing, it's not the whole picture. But when we have the framework of this is who I am, this is my purpose, this is how I can be more expressed and more myself. Okay, and then shift from, let's say, people pleasing. Let's then shift from this issue that I have in my relationship. Then it just becomes really, really potent and substantial and integrated.
Mm. Powerful, y'all. It's again, y'all, the special offer, $97, two payment option, 3 hours on December 17th. Wait, the 14th, the 17th. I lost my place on the special offer. Um,
14th.
the 14th, y'all. It's Mercury. I'm still on my tail end of Mercury retrograde, also. I'm catching up. Um, but again, it's going to be wonderful, and I hope that y'all have the opportunity to participate and really discover more about just the gifts that are really alive in you. It's only how to access it and how to really illuminate it in such a way that it liberates you and opens up that spark of power and creativity and vitality that's just ready to be utilized, which is so beautiful. So again, y'all take advantage of it. The link for the special offer is in the chat box. You could click on the special offer by finding the special offer button underneath the video where you're watching the call from, whether you're live or on the replay. Um, and with that, Brooke, shall we open up to some more readings? Let's do it.
Yes.
So let's go to Edith. Edith typed in her information in the chat. So Edith was born December 4th, 1971 in Jalisco, Mexico. So Jalisco is Jalisco, Mexico, and she was born at 1:55 p.m.
Well, happy early birthday.
Yes, happy early birthday.
1:55 p.m.
That's correct.
Okay. Ooh, oh yay. So, my dear, this is a fabulous year for you.
Hmm.
Punarvasu is your moon sign. And it's a fabulous year for you. It's a fabulous year for all of us because this is a most auspicious placement to have any planet, your moon sign. It's where Jupiter, the planet of expansion, of optimism, is moving through this year. He moved into Punarvasu in August and will be there until June. And Punarvasu means the return of light. And so this year is about returning to light and returning to love. Punarvasu is connected to the goddess, Aditi, the creator, the ancient creator goddess of all the Vedic gods, was the mother, Aditi. And so a Punarvasu native, one who has their moon in Punarvasu, is very connected to the feminine, very connected to nourishing, caring for others. And often they are very creative, they're very regenerative, they're very fertile with ideas and inspiration. There's an ongoing muse that's inside of them. And often, when that muse is suppressed, that's when they run into depression or malaise, a feeling of defeat. But Punarvasu is really about shining and shining from the divine feminine.
Hmm. It's beautiful. Edith, happy birthday. And wow. Wow, what's amazing. Something that got stimulated by you mentioning Jupiter also. Um, in my particular chart, I had some pretty favorable Jupiter placements in the beginning of November and mid-November, and everything seemed to go quiet during that time, rather than, oh my God, these amazing flows of abundance, like all this luck just manifesting and then dropping in, like going to Vegas and winning the jackpot. It just was really still. It's like, huh, where's all that overflow that Jupiter promised? And it's not that I was questioning. I felt something working underneath my my awakened reality. Like something was working underneath in the foundation that was bringing up, that was providing kind of like the rebar for what was coming. But
Mm.
how do we navigate those points in the chart where it shows one thing, but our outside experience is like, well, when's this thing going to show up? Like it's promising that it's going to show up in the chart.
From someone who has tracked this Jupiter return to be like, this month I'm gonna meet my husband. Has gone on like multiple dates and has been like, ooh, is it him? Is it him? Ooh, what is this karma? I feel like I have been married to a couple of you people. Wow, we're just clearing this karma out right now. I know it can feel like, okay, where's the
Yeah.
blessing of Jupiter? But Jupiter is different than Venus, which can give us quick cash and just abundance. Jupiter
Mm,
is more of this sustenance. He is the happy, laughing Buddha with the big belly that's just feeling rich, rich with life, rich with emotional health. And that's part of Jupiter being in Cancer. So
Mm,
the moon is connected to Cancer, which is all about happiness, of peace, of the prosperity of having a sattvic or clarifying, peaceful mind, state of mind. And when Jupiter is moving through there, it's just a sense of, yes, stillness, a sense of just being fulfilled, exactly how life is, and seeing where there can be more and more expression, more and more of emotional healing in your life, emotional connectivity. Even if that means Cancer being with the family, being with people, with persons that maybe we've had a difficult relationship with before, but Jupiter's here just to like raise that up and say, hey, it's good now. Things are better. Can you see that all is well? So, and it depends on your Jupiter placement in your chart. And I know, John, your Jupiter placement is a very hidden place. So, for you to have like a hidden understanding of what Jupiter's moving through you
yeah.
is very apropos, but it's still a long transit, and Jupiter is going retrograde. I believe it just did, or it will this week. And this will also bring to the surface more things in the next couple months. So just to be with the frequency of Jupiter and especially the frequency of the goddess right now is just perfect timing to open up to your moon sign, which is the moon is considered the goddess.
Mm. I really appreciate the way that you explain that also because you're right. During that time, there's a lot of hurry up and wait kind of energy of things that are like they're refining in the background and they're not quite manifesting it or they're realigning and things are falling apart, things are coming through different things that look like potentials, but they're not the right things. So it's like, let me present. And it's like, no, it's not that, but let me present. No, it's kind of like I'm gonna find my husband. It's like, no, we've done that before. It's not in this lifetime, thank you. Um, and again, it's a refinement process, just sitting in the peacefulness of the abundance that is really there. If we can just slow down, take a breath, and be patient and allow the goddesses and the gods and divinity to do its thing with us, right?
Right, because we don't want to create from this place of scarcity, because that's
Mhm.
going to bring us unalignment.
Right.
There
Or
was
hurry up to the one thing that shows promise, but it's not really it.
Right. If I was so convinced in my mind that this timing, this 1 month in June, that I was going to meet my husband, I
Mm,
surely could have projected that onto some of the men that I was dating and said, you're it, you're mine. And it would have been
mm.
a done deal. But in my
Yeah.
heart, in my emotional experience, in my vision, because Jupiter is vision, okay, do we have the same vision? Do we have the same language? Is this actually going to be something long term and beautiful and over time just maturing with love? No, it's not. So I could have relied on my ego and my scarcity consciousness to manifest that, but it would have been out of alignment and caused problems. And that's one of the beauties of Vedic astrology. It's getting you into the sober truth of who you are. So you're not rushing time and you're not rushing your own development and you're not accidentally pretending or living out of a false sense of self that gets you into these situationships or these experiences, business, anything that ultimately isn't going to provide you the sustainability, which is what Lakshmi wants for us to be sustained.
Mm. Yeah, it's and something that I've been sharing in with the membership group and we're private clients and even in personal conversations with other people who like having these conversations. Um, there's a consciousness that's rising within us that's also demonstrated by what we can access in the circuitry that reads through our charts, right? But what we're being called into also is to really garner the wisdom and the experiences that we've carried through many lifetimes, and this lifetime in particular, because we are living it in this incarnate form. And as stimuluses come up collectively and individually is to be in that sacred pause and really feel what's underneath the superficial trigger that we may feel or hope for, or maybe want to run away from, and really pause and ask for clarity and wisdom, going down a few more layers deeper into what's being revealed. Again, I could have gone into Jupiter was supposed to provide this, this, and this, but hold on a second. what else is really there? Let me go into my own awareness, my own peace, my own connection with the divine within me, and what's really informing there, rather than the one thing that will give me immediate comfort, but that might really be elusive in the long run. So the pause, and again, the Vedic astrology in this way, the intelligence and the discipline. Not that Western astrology isn't disciplined, it's extremely disciplined, but the discipline with the goddesses, the archetypes, and all that, it's an initiator, but it's also demonstrating what our capacities are if we just pause and have relationship for just a little bit longer than we're used to. What gets revealed is profound. Um, so again, I so appreciate it's you're being on the show now and providing those deeper layers of what we have access to really empower ourselves and creating the lives that we're here to create on purpose, truly, with our destiny. All right, let's go to another caller. Carol Whitney, I have not seen you in forever. Welcome to the call.
Hey, John.
Hi. Why don't you give Brooke your
Well,
information, please? It's great to see you.
yeah, it's I put it in the chat. I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, at 1853. And what's the other thing? Oh, 1966 is my birthday. And it's Carol Whitney I don't know if you need the name, probably.
Thank you, Carol.
Sure.
I'm just triple checking. Okay. Oh, you're also Chitra. Were you
Yeah, I
here?
am a Chitra.
Were you here when we talked about Chitra?
I don't think I was. I didn't realize the time when I saw the thing come up in my email.
Give
So
us a little more. Remind us about Chitra again, Brooke.
Yes, I'm seeing what you typed as well. So Chitra is symbolized by the dazzling jewel or a diamond. And people who have a strong Chitra placement are wanting things to be beautiful. They're wanting things to be exquisite, functional. Engineers, artisans, architects are very Chitra oriented. They're very precision oriented. They love to be precise. It may be even be fun to have like a precise type of manifestation that you want to mock up and have come into fruition. Maybe it's a vacation on the beach with a certain drink that you're having, with a certain friend, with a certain music, with a certain feeling. Chitra people just love proving that they can have exactly what they want. So give yourself that permission to create an exquisite reality and to just be aware of any of the frustrations of when things aren't perfect or your perfectionist tendencies may come out, that there's frustrations and things not being organized or set up or beautified in a way that's to your liking and aesthetic taste, and to just be in that creative process, which I know you can do.
Yeah, I'm an artist. So.
So for someone like Carol, if she doesn't get what she wants when she wants it, what's her remedy, or what's calling her, or someone like Whitney or Carol, sorry.
I'll give you an
Like that with you,
example of what I'm going through that's extremely irking me, which is I'm in a lawsuit for some money that I wasn't paid for work that I did. And my boss is trying to muddy the waters and make it so he doesn't know as much. And they didn't keep records. And so I've had to recreate everything. And that whole perfectionist thing is just really getting me. So trying to get it resolved and correctly, you know?
Yes, it sounds like you're using your detail-oriented perfectionist to right use. That's when you need it in a lawsuit, right? Of just like, I know more details than you. So here's all the information in the backlog. And to just see if you can open up to more of, I would say, the goddess power of love, and that you're worthy of receiving this money, that you're worthy
Mm.
of having justice being delivered to you. Because it's when we get into that delusion of our unworthiness is usually when the anxiety comes up, or we rush time, or our mind is taking over that this isn't going to work out for me, and we just put too much pressure on the thing when we can just depressurize and come back into our innate worthiness.
So it
Yeah.
might behoove Carol to tune in and to maybe have a little ceremony with Lakshmi.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So diving into that,
Love
and are
Lakshmi.
there any particular colors that she can be wearing or particular stones that she can surround herself with or other activators that may benefit her?
Pinks, reds, roses, red roses, lotus colored, stargazing lilies that are pink,
Mm,
whites, topaz, pearls connects you to the moon, connects you to just stabilizing your mind, especially for Chitra, something shiny, maybe some sort of diamond or diamond-like cut or quartz. Golds and silvers. Lakshmi loves metallic and shiny things, the lights and things like this, things to just lighten up the energy and to make things festive and beautiful. Even when you're feeling just the drudgery, and I have so been there with court cases, it can just drain the life force out of us, right? Because our consciousness is focused on the obstacle and like the enemy, right? And so we can get into this territorial space that we need. And that's really important. That's our Mars energy of like, this is my territory. This is the money, right? That I'm advocating for. This is my right um, to be properly paid. And just moving into the Venus energy or the moon energy in Taurus of just everything's good, everything's full, abundance is moving through me. I'm creating wealth. Don't let projects go to the side that can create prosperity for you in this moment.
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Blessings to you, Carol.
Yeah, thanks for picking on me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And y'all, again, it's, I talked about maybe setting up an altar, but again, flowers in a vase and your intention of just witnessing its beauty and the colors and presence with it, that in itself is a prayer and can be an altar by itself. If you want to get more elaborate with it and you're called more into ritual of it, of course, but it can be a really simple practice. And a place of just where there's a reverence, not just for the deity that we're calling in, but remember that what you're calling in is inside of you. It's reverence to you in the mirror of the god or the goddess that is showing up for you, and how powerful to be reminded of these legions of allies that we have available to us, and if we know and have relationship with how to activate them and call them in, um, we can recognize that we're not always walking as alone as we might think that we are. And how beautiful is that, right? Um, Carol, blessings on your journey. I think everything's going to work out for you. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome. Okay, let's go now to Tina. Welcome to the call, Tina.
Hello. My birth date is 10/3/1963, 9:27 a.m.
Ooh, hold on a second.
Vallejo
Hold on a second. 10/3/63, 9:27 a.m.
a.m. Vallejo, Vallejo, California. Tina Cooper.
Lakshmi is really connected to the earth as well. So any earth rituals, being with the elements,
Oh,
being with
nice.
the ground, grounding your energy with the earth, spending a loose day in nature, no plan, getting lost in the woods or at the beach. This is also connecting to Lakshmi and the goddess.
Hmm.
Okay, Tina. Do-do-do. Double checking here. Okay. Ooh, okay. You are Revati Nakshatra. And Revati is similar to Punarvasu in that it's a very nourishing nakshatra. It's connected to Pushan, the god of nourishment, and also Pushan is the shepherd god. So not only is he nourishing the community, shepherding the animals, but he's shepherding consciousness. So he often is caring for people's emotional reality. And it's said in one of the myths that Pushan actually takes people to the other realms or through the or to the afterlife. So Pushan people have this kind of just gentle but profound understanding of death and life and like the true meaning of life. So they're very sensitive people in that way. And they're also very wealth-oriented people. They are charitable people. They like to just provide housing, provide nurturance in all types of ways. I've seen people with Airbnbs or um, hotels, hostels have Pushan type of energy, Revati type of energy, or they benefit from housing people as one of the upayas or remedies to the chart of just like take care of someone for a week, have them in your home. Um, and they also are very like glamorous. They love glamour and they love like at times high fashion and just like really nice taste. And so permission to have like a taste of opulence and a taste for opulence,
Mm.
or just really high quality things as a Revati type person. And the shadow is often being a pushover, being guilt motivated to provide or to care for people, over caretaking, overly generous. These are the Pushan shadows or Revati shadows.
Spot on. Yeah. Yeah. And when you were saying about the housing, I've always sort of had that background of wanting to help others, like some kind of home type thing or something, not really knowing what it is, but that's interesting you said that. Thank you. Spot
Absolutely.
on. I mean, even like I help my partner cross over, I help my grandmother cross over. So yeah,
Wow.
thank you.
Wow. Blessings, Tina. Brooke, do you find out that when we're not satiating those parts in our charts and the moon, it's like when we're starving it of that stimulation that it really takes an effect on our consciousness and our ability to create the life that we want?
I believe so. I really do. After my experiment with my own chart and my experiment with clients and educating them in their moon sign, it's really quite surreal when you're not
Mm.
living with the power of your moon sign. I'll give you an example. My moon sign's Mula, which the power is to destroy,
Mm. Wow.
and especially destroy lies. And before I became a hypnotist and a coach, I was always the one with the truth. I was always like a truth teller. I was always so frustrated that people couldn't see underneath this superficial layer of what was going on. I was a journalist. So I was studying how to do investigations and to just uncover things. And when that hunger, that fulfillment of my moon sign wasn't being met, well, then I just felt so out of balance with myself. I couldn't use the shakti, this power of my emotions to help other people and to be in, right relationship with my heart.
Mm.
So that's why I joke, I trigger people, or I can, kind of bring you to the precipice of your truth because there is this quality that I've
Mm.
come to befriend and not to fear that can be very direct in destroying what is untrue to get you into your true self.
It's very Kali-esque of you, for sure.
The
Um,
Mula moon is ruled by Kali.
yeah,
Yes.
makes sense, makes sense. And
Yeah.
I would welcome those triggers and let them show up because, God, a little ounce of adjustment is so worth just the expansion that takes place. Um, Y'all, I want to remind you of the special offer with Brooke. Again, a 3-hour immersive experience, potentially shamanic. That's me saying it. Um, into discovering more about yourself and what's available to you and how to feed and nurture these parts of you that will gift to you for the rest of your life without question, as we know the nutrients that they require and you show up quite capable, if only maybe lacking the awareness of what it is that will satiate that part of you. So beautiful, beautiful initiation that you're being invited to as you drop in with Brooke. It includes the PDF that will include an explanation of all the 27 moons, um, and how they relate, not only for you, but for you can look into loved ones, relationships, and other things as well, as Brooke explained earlier. And it's only $97, two payment option, December 14th for 3 hours, starting at 12 p.m. Pacific, with replays available. There'll be live Q&A on the call also, and I'm excited. I'm excited that y'all get to go in and drop in with Brooke in this particular way. Um, Brooke, how do you navigate personally with all this information? Because if it were me, I'd be geeking out on a daily basis for 3 hours every morning before I started my day, and I just would be caught in the mundane and the minutia before I even got started. How do you navigate all this information? And again, how do you apply it into your personal experience?
Well, you know, being in relationship with two Vedic astrologers has manifested as a result of this karma. Just
Okay.
couldn't avoid that. Yeah, it has saturated my life in certain ways and in different cycles of the study with Vedic astrology. Yeah, I think grounding it as much as possible and just observing and always approaching it with inquiry, with, okay, I'm delivering little snapshots about the chart, the moon sign placement, but I don't have the other context of your planetary um, influences. And when I do, I often try to stay as much as possible in inquiry. Tell me
Mm,
about this. What's up here? Do you find that X, Y, and Z is a reality that you've experienced? And that keeps it really alive. And I'm always discovering and
mm,
always finding different ways to present this material, especially so that we can digest it in our Western conditioned learning patterns and habits of our mind, because it is a very different orientation at the end of the day. And it's been a journey of getting
mm,
to educate myself and then also find ways to illuminate it and its more animistic liveliness that it's meant
mm.
to be transmitted, because it's an oral tradition at the end of the
Right.
day. And so learning and receiving orally is really important with this, the nakshatras especially.
Mm, so powerful. And I just really appreciate the technology and the science behind this. Um, First of all, what you have to study to understand the different nuances that you do and just the history and what's been passed down and how to weave them all together is impressive in and all by itself. But what's even more impressive, we can look at this as something that can illuminate something that we can fix, heal, kind of fix the leaky faucet, energetically and spiritually in part of us. But for me, and I'll invite you all into this. I get to find out more about my favorite subject, which is me, to discover with awe and wonder how I'm wired, what I do, what motivates me, and then how I show up in relationship to my life, with others, to my life path, and to be on that ongoing discovery of awe and wonder of a majesty that created our consciousness and how we get to express
Mm.
that. For me, there's nothing more fulfilling than to be in the continuous discovery of that light. Y'all, the life that we get to live just with that awareness is such a gift, such a gift. And again, to be studied and to understand these different paths. And again, the guidance or guides that are showing up to support us in that discovery is we live in such an abundant life right now, right now.
We do. We do. It's
Mm,
phenomenal to
mm,
be living on the edge of this ancient information from our starry ancestors.
yeah.
It was the starry ones in the Vedic tradition
Mm,
that brought down this information. Some of the texts talk about aliens having, conditioned the rishis, the ancient sages, to download this information. We could say it's just all Akashic inspiration for us to resource the qualities of awe, of inspiration, of going beyond.
Mm. Y'all go into the special offer, Brooke. Go into the 3 hour, and I'll call it an intensive. Um, get to know Brooke more, maybe even get session with her if you're guided to as well. And as we're wrapping up today's call, y'all, and I want to get into more questions, and Brooke will have to come on again. If y'all want her on, we'll definitely have her on. I want her on, so I think she's gonna come on anyway. But as we're wrapping up today, Brooke, what's exciting you about what's coming up?
Personally in my life,
Yeah, what excites you?
what excites me is the goddess returning with this Jupiter in Punarvasu, as it's my natal placement in Punarvasu. And it is a very strong placement in my nakshatras. So not only your moon sign nakshatra is very, very peak importance, but there's also your other planets are in these different nakshatras, and your rising degree is in a different nakshatra, and they all communicate and inform with one another. I've spent months with clients just going through the nakshatras of each of the 9 planetary placements plus the ascendant sign. We go week by week, just being with one nakshatra and the mythology of it to break open their consciousness. So, what I see for my own life is that there's a return of me being able to be a spokeswoman for the goddess. And it feels just so good starting off this return of the beginning of my practice, which was awakened by the divine feminine, to now be really anchoring in that more in an embodied way, a multifaceted way for my upcoming membership. I won't give the name, but it's all about the mystical dimension of the divine feminine through cross-cultural myth and ways that we can practically embody our own mythos and our own feminine experience. And it is, unfortunately, for women only at this time.
Or fortunately for the Hey,
Yes.
as a masculine, I get to benefit from whatever you are empowering yourself. So it's a benefit to us all, um, without question. And I do have to share because I remember when I reached out to you, you said that you were opening up into this place where you were like opening up to be seen in bigger communities in bigger ways to bring this work forward. So the timing and the alignments of what was demonstrating in your chart and the impetus of energy that gave you, it was a frequency match for us to align and to that we get to be ambassadors on BTO for this beautiful body of work that you're offering to your community. Yeah. So again, the timing of it is just so precise in different ways. It's fascinating.
Yes, yes, it can be precise in certain ways with Vedic astrology. And like you alluded to earlier, it can be a little more obtuse of how is this, when is this happening? Oh, it's
Yeah.
around this time. I'm just going to feel into that frequency, expect that this is going to happen with me, and anchor in my worthiness for this. And don't get
Hmm.
into the illusion that because it's not happening immediately, it's not for me. Dissolve that as much as possible and come into the home of your
Hmm.
body.
It's happening. It's just not happening in ways that we can see in which we would prefer to experience in the present moment. So fascinating. Brooke, thank you so much for the generosity in doing readings on the call today, the generosity of putting together this course for us for BTO and offering the PDF with that also, so that we can understand better. And again, grateful that we had an opportunity to introduce you to our beautiful community. So it's been a blessing having you on here. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you all for having me. It's been a
Mhm.
blast.
It's been a blessing. Thank you all for coming on. I promise we'll have her back on the show. We'll get some more live Q&A. In the meantime, go into a special offer. Dive in with Brooke. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I
Thank
look forward to
you.
seeing you
Thank
all
you.
on the next call. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Bye bye.